Manchester has produced its fair share of music icons, but few have been as influential as Johnny Marr. A founder member of the Smiths, he gained a reputation as one of this country's greatest guitarists and songwriters. Noel Gallagher describes him as a wizard. Music magazine NME crowned him a godlike genius. Tonight, he's back home. That's money, money. That's money, money. Johnny, it's an honour and a pleasure to meet you. Thanks very much for talking to us. Welcome home, and what a venue for a gig.
Yeah, welcome to the Soundcheck, glamorous Soundcheck. It's good to be here. It's a really unusual place. You know, there aren't too many places like. I don't think there's anywhere like this in the country, from what I know. And since we announced the gigs, I've had people literally stop me in the street and say, "Have you been in there?" People love it. So people are excited about it being in this venue. It is a bit of a hidden gem. The Charlatans played here recently, and Super Furry Animals played here. And last time I played in Manchester, we played at the Apollo last year, and so we were looking for something. We just didn't want to do the same thing, and so a couple of nights here seemed like a good option. But now I'm here. I'm really glad we picked the place. Yeah, it's great.
You seem to have been touring now solidly for about 2 years. Are the Manchester dates the really special ones?
Yeah, Manchester's always super important for us in the band. It's the only gig I get a little nervous at, really, because you see, my phone's going from days before, people coming who've bought tickets and people trying to get tickets and everything. And yeah, it's my hometown, and I know what Manchester gigs are like from being a child, and you know, the excitement. You know, I've been an audience member all my life, you know. So being up there on the stage is very, very special. It's always an occasion, an event.
You seem to have been in one group or another for the last 30, 35 years now, only recently going solo. How are you enjoying the limelight?
I took to it quite naturally, I think. I think there's maybe an idea that migration from stage left to the centre stage in some kind of like uprising would be a bigger deal than it was, but for some reason it felt quite natural. I think singing my own songs is a help, you know, and singing songs that have been part of my life for 30 years as well with the old ones. I think people kind of make too much of it. In my case, it just seemed natural. In some ways it's even easier because you've got the microphone, you're kind of in control of it, and if people start shouting stuff out, you can engage them directly, whereas if you've just got the guitar, you're a little bit in the dark, literally. Yeah. So, no, I like it, and the success of the solo records was really quite unexpected, and the enthusiasm that it's been greeted with, particularly in the media, I kind of thought fans would like it, but journalists seem to have taken very kindly to it, which makes me suspicious.
The great thing about your gigs, and I've been lucky enough to see a few times now, is you do play a mix. New stuff, the Smiths, electronic, the crowd go mad for it. Do you get as much of a buzz out of playing the old stuff still?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think I always say the thing with those old songs is if you've got songs that people have grown up with and really love, because they used to listen to them in college or at school or whatever, they've grown up with you. You're lucky, you know. You're very lucky to have songs that people love. And because the new stuff is so well liked, doing the old songs is just a celebration now. And in a way, I know some people have said this before, but other artists, but they do feel like they belong to everybody. So when I sing them, I'm just the leader, really. I'm not really performing those so much. We're all doing it together, really. Belong to everybody, particularly when songs are hits or love songs like There Is a Light or Getting Away With It or whatever. So I just feel very lucky. But it's important to me as an artist, I think it's very important that my own stuff makes up nearly all of the set, and then, as I say, the old songs are jolly up, really.
A live album on the way as well.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
It was important for me to do a live record because when I was younger, I liked him. You know, I had there's a couple of David Bowie live records that I loved, and there was a Ramones one that I liked, And I used to buy bootlegs and everything. And when you got a good one, I think they're a good listen, and they're a much sort of forgotten art form, really. I think these days, with technology being the way it is, maybe you know, live stuff's a bit more readily available on YouTube, and I understand that. But for me, a live album's still a really special thing, and we put a hell of a lot of work into it. Most of it was recorded at the Manchester Apollo last year, and Brixton Academy and Glasgow. Couldn't miss Glasgow out. So the important thing was that it was a representation of this last few years of my solo, me and my band, you know. And really my main criteria was that it sounds like us on a night when we really catch fire, like what it's like in the middle of the audience, or what it's like for me in the middle of the stage. So there are not a lot of mistakes as such, because my band are very good. I didn't need to tart it up too much, and I'm glad about that. But there are I left some little bits in, so it's like a real show. You know, I didn't squeeze all the live out of it.
Your mate Noel Gallagher says you can get stuff out of a guitar that nobody else can. Right. Why is that?
Do you know, I just had a knack for it when I was young, you know, that's the thing. Most of my mates were all trying to play these David Bowie riffs, and they had the tongues hanging out. And I just thought, oh, I think it goes like this. Asked me to put a shelf up, or even parallel parking. Yeah. Noel will probably run rings around me. Although I don't think he can drive, I think I could do that better as well. But I'm sure there's plenty of stuff he can do a lot better than me.
Now then, you're not the only show in town this week. There's the Conservative Party conference is on. The Prime Minister has made it very clear he's a big Smiths fan, which I know has upset you a little bit. If he knocked on the door tonight and said, any chance of coming in to watch, Johnny, what would the answer be? Remember, we're a family show.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've thought about putting him on the guest list, but cutbacks. So the guest list is usually bigger, but I'm afraid he's not allowed to come in. And I've got a couple of my guys on the lookout on the doors in case he tries to barge his way in and sneak in like I used to in the old days. He'll be out on his ear.
You're just at very different ends of the political spectrum, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like this Conservative Party one bit.
And you tweeted him a few years ago, didn't you, to forbid him from liking the Smiths?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was funny, you know. It was an off-the-cuff thing that I did. I'd only been on Twitter a month or so, and I was still under the impression back then that social media was supposed to be just entertaining and fun, you know. So it was a little fun thing that then really took on a life of its own. But it was one of those little things you do in life that work out pretty well, because I was glad I did it, you know. Because then you had the student demonstrations around about the same time, and then, you know, all kinds of stuff went on with policies and things that I didn't agree with. So I was glad to do it, but as far as that whole him liking the Smiths goes, I just don't buy it, really.
I know you've made it very, very clear over the years the Smiths will never reform. But over the last couple of years, when you've seen some iconic Manchester bands like the Stone Roses, New Order, the Happy Mondays, reforming, great celebrations around them, have you ever looked on with a bit of envy?
No. No, because, let me think. I think when the Roses got back together again, I mean, I know the Stone Roses well, you know, and I've known Ian since I was a kid, you know, and I was really happy for him. Because they started out as mates, you know, they were kids who used to kick around together, and they had sort of unfinished business, I think. They only made 2 records, and it suited them and it was fine, and it made them very happy, and so I was really happy for them, you know. And I don't think New Order have ever split up, really. I think they've just been this, they take hiatus and so on.
I guess it was the first album in 10 years, I guess.
I never thought they were ever going to go away, really. I was always expecting, and do expect to see New Order, really. Who was the other band?
Happy Mondays.
Oh, God knows what Happy Mondays are up to. They're an entity unto themselves.
But you've never looked on with envy?
No. I've always been too busy. You know, I think with what I was doing with the Cribs and Modest Mouse, and then the movies. You know, I mean, when I'm not making records, my own records, I'm doing film soundtracks. So I'm too busy to get involved in that. And also, you know, everyone's different. I'm just a very forward-looking person, almost obsessively, really. I think it's a real shame that the Smiths aren't on better terms. Well, that's bands for you, you know. There's people I've been in bands with over the years that I absolutely adore that I just don't speak to. So people make too much of it, but I understand it. It's cool.
It's a real thrill for us to have you on Granada Reports, and we think we've uncovered your first appearance on the programme 30 years ago with the great Tony Wilson. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I think I know what that is, yeah.
My style is influenced by basically American and English folk guitar.
Look at him. Look at that little fella.
How is it you look better now than 30 years ago?
Staying up late, drinking and smoking.
Back then? Oh, no, now.
I bet you can't tell me where the melodies come from. The answer is, I don't know.
We grew up watching local television with Granada Reports, and we felt like we'd arrived. Those moments are big moments in your life as a teenager. I'm glad to be still doing it. It's nice to still be here and to be playing in Manchester. It's great.
Well, listen, welcome home. Can't wait for the gig tonight. Johnny Marr, thanks for talking to us.
It's great to be here, thank you.